As the conditions change by which various entities operate in World of Warcraft, we are compelled to update our policies to further our goal of making the gameplay experience as fair and welcoming as possible. Since we last updated our policies, we have found that an increasing disturbance of the gameplay experience has been caused by organizations excessively advertising various non-traditional services in-game. So this right here, this is them vaguely enough saying that any kind of boosting goes under this policy. So raiding, Mythic Plus, PvP, even mounts and shit like that, like all of it. All of it goes under this because they don't say it they don't say exactly what it is that they don't allow anymore for like the specific services in game. And then as of today, we will now prohibit organizations who offer boosting, matchmaking, escrow, or any other non-traditional services, including those offered for gold. So this here directly says if you're an organization, if you're a big boosting community, you're not allowed to do this anymore. That's the line in the sand. You cannot do that. So that's also pretty, right on the dot. Is Echo an org? No, but the thing is, they are an org, but you can still be an org in the game. You can still do that. But the way that you boost now is very different. They are an org because they're a registered company. But you don't have to be a registered company for that. But either way, that doesn't matter because this only impacts boosting. So Echo can still do their rating and all that. But if per se that they're trying to do boosting to regain some of their gold that they've been spending, they have to be very specific about how they do that. They have to do it, first of all, only on one realm, on their own server. And then they have to find individuals, and they have to, they can't... Individual people... What it almost is individual people in Echo has to sell their own boosting services to individual other people. So like the amount of work that this is going to take for people that still want to do boosting is pretty wild. And I also think in terms of liabilities and such, I don't think Echo will actually even risk doing this. Because they already have so many eyes on them. And you already have to, be high enough to boost yourself. So it's going to be interesting to see how they enforce it. But let's read a little more. World of Warcraft accounts found to be in violation of this policy are subject to account actions. These account actions can include warnings, account suspensions, and if necessary, permanent closure of the disruptive World of Warcraft account or accounts. So this is basically them saying, depending on how bad or how many times you do this, you can get all the way up to a permaban. And you can also get a permaban instantly. So, people can't be like, oh, I'm just going to get a warning. They make it seem like if you're bad enough, they will permaban you instantly. They're not going to care. And I can tell you from other policy changes that they're probably going to be handing out permabans left and right. I'll just be honest. Organizations operating across multiple realms and excessively advertising non-traditional in-game sales are contrary to the terms and conditions of the Blizzard end-user license agreement. So this is basically, if you want to be a boosting community or an organization, you have to be on your own server, and the way that you boost cannot be in the organized way that we've seen it recently. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be like, I guess honestly, to avoid what this says, you can't even type Echo is like, let's say Echo was doing it. Echo is selling boosts for Mythic the Jailer in 9.2. I guess you can't even do that. I guess individual players would have to advertise that they're selling boosts to Mythic Plus or PvP or raids. So it'll be interesting to see what's allowed and what isn't going to be allowed. You can't spam for someone else or on a level 1. You have to be... Yeah. Welcome in, Lavik. And Stu, I approve of this. Free trade chat. I agree. I think overall, this is a very good change for the game. It absolutely is. But it impacts a lot of people, and it's going to impact the token. It's going to impact the economy, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But this is very important, because this is something that people don't read. They read the title, and then they read maybe the first couple of lines, and then they make their entire opinion on that, right? A lot of people right now will think boosting is banned. You cannot boost anymore. Right? The same thing when the multi-boxing change was going on. Oh, that says multi-boxing is banned? Fine, multi-boxing is gone. You can't do it anymore in any way. But you can. You still can. Because this says right here, this policy update does not restrict individuals or guilds from using the provided in-game tools, the trade channel, chat, to buy or sell in-game items or activities for in-game currency. However, boosting communities, especially those who operate across multiple realms, are no longer permitted. So this is basically saying, if you have a guild and the only reason that guild exists is to boost people, you're not even allowed to do that on an individual realm. Right? So if you're a Nova or you're a Sylvanas or any of those, right, you cannot have that guild even on an individual server. You can't do that, because then you're a boosting community. But the thing is, what do they deem a boosting community? Huh? Because, like, say you have a guild and you raid 2 to 3 days, but in the other 4 to 5 days, you sell boosts to be able to afford your rating for the entire guild. Are you more of a boosting community or a rating guild? Right? Are Blizzard gonna say, well, your guild does more boosting, so we deem it a boosting community? Right? Like, what do they mean by that? Because they say, however, boosting communities, comma, especially those who operate across multiple realms, are no longer permitted. So this also means on just one server. Right? So this is how are they going to deem, oh, is this a boosting community or not? I think personally what it's going to be is, if you have a guild and you're actively raiding, it's a social guild, and you do a little boosting as well, you know, that's an actual guild. But if the only reason your guild is created was to boost, and that's all it does the majority of the time, then you're probably a boosting community. Too bad you don't have podcast still. That would have been a great episode. Yeah, it would have. Cannot be a system to find buyers and boosters. Yeah. Trade chat turned into general chat. It did. A collection of guilds over multiple realms operating under a single management structure, a community. Yeah. There is a community tab. Well, that's different. That's different. Because the reason that they air quote boosting communities is because this is a made up term by the, by the WoW players. And this is what people know most, so this is why they use this wording. So we don't know, we don't know how they're gonna be about like actually enforcing it, but yeah. But I mean, I would say no matter what, if you do any kind of boosting in the game at the moment, I would just not. Like, guys, if anyone in here has been a part of a boosting community, or if you have done any boosting, even if it's just for a friend, don't. Just wait how it turns out to stop 100%. Because with the multi-boxing change, people were even getting banned for things that they did before the change. So put it on pause, wait for Blizzard to reiterate this, come out with new updates, and let's see like what's allowed, what isn't allowed, right? Because the bigger boosting communities are probably going to figure out what's allowed and what isn't very, very quickly. So yeah, I would recommend probably not doing anything at all, and even maybe leaving any boosting communities that you were a part of.